Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. Jason and I are joined today by Joseph Utley, who's a guy that we know really well and you probably know as well. Joe is the Director of Sales for Screen Innovations. And hey, Joseph, thanks for playing along.
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. We're all kind of figuring our way out through this. And Joe, we've been your reps for a while. We've been your reps in the Pacific Northwest and in SoCal and NorCal. We know SI deeply and intimately, and for folks who are listening who may not, what does Screen Innovations make?
Well, before I even tell you about what we make, let me tell you a little bit about Screen Innovation to start off with. I've been with SI Screen Innovation since 2018 is when I joined the company, but they've been around since 2003, and we started off in the screen business. Ryan started the company in his garage, traditionally white screens. And then later on built some software to help dealers spec out jobs, and it just over the years kept on innovating the category, from white screens to gray screens, black diamond to slate, transfer, you name it. We've just kind of innovated, pushed out envelope in a couple of different things until today, and now we are also in the shading world. So we do indoor shading, outdoor shading, drapery track. I tell people that we have a very fun and inclusive ecosystem now. When you look at present day SI compared to 20 plus years ago SI. So.
Man, 20 years. I think about my time in this industry, and I've been in the game maybe a little longer than I should, or maybe longer than others for sure. To think about 20 years and how far Screen Innovations has come, I used to see them, as this little, I would say a little startup, right? That would be at like the EH Expo and sort of like these secondary and tertiary like regional shows, and there's like this, guy with a surfer haircut and pitching screens. And I mean, I'm not here to diminish anybody's success or whatever, but the optics at that time were just like, wow, like, who are these guys? Like, where do they come from? And then,
Scrappy.
you know, now you look at, well, yeah, well, we put a movie screen on the space shuttle for, and we've branched out a little bit from those, tiny regional shows there, Jason. Maybe give us a little bit more respect.
Well, wait,
And it's
before we go, I just want to make sure that it's clear that they didn't put the screen on the space shuttle. Russell Warnhoff himself put the screen on the ISS,
oh
which is what he
that
told us on a previous episode. So just
is
now that
that
we're
is that
clear,
what it was? Okay,
yeah,
well, yeah. Regardless, your company was involved with movies in space. Your company's involved with like these innovative ideas. You mentioned the shade stuff with some of the cassettes and some of the battery operated solutions that you have. I mean, it's kind of a complete 180 from where you started to where you are. So on top of the cool product, you got this cool kind of made in America success story. Like a lot of cool tie-ins. So yeah, sorry, I'm not going to do the podcast for you, Joseph. I just wanted to gush a little bit and
I
just
mean,
kind of put my perspective on screen innovations for people out there. It come a long, long way, really long way.
long way, and actually, don't worry about that. I appreciate a lot of what you just said because it's true. We humble beginnings, but the thing I like is you can call office now. We still got that humble attitude now, because we're really here to grow the business, but at the same time serve dealers, figure out what the industry's missing, and how we can market that to our client base. Still got the same humble, innovative attitude as we did 20 plus years ago, which is why SI is a fun place to be.
Yeah, there's. I don't think anybody would accuse Screen Innovations of not knowing how to have a good time. That's been in the TV industry, or even if you walk into a trade show where Screen Innovations is at, and everybody's got a different vibe. The
Yeah.
vibe of the Screen Innovations booth is happening. There's music, there's video. There may or may not be a beer flowing or two. I don't know. Things tend to happen. So
Yeah.
a lot of positive energy, kind of coming out, obviously, of the corporate culture from the top. And maybe that's, I think, a cool thing for dealers to be able to channel, be able to like pass that power on, like, okay, here's the vibe, that I've got. Let me kind of resonate that back onto you. So, get you excited
It
about
helps you
some
tell
window
that
covers.
story, right? So I mean,
Absolutely.
story is more important almost than anything with anything that we sell, and that SI story and that vibe, like Jason kind of got into, is so important, and you guys do it so well.
Mhm. We try to. I think some people lose track of this is still a people's business. We might be B2B, but it's still a people thing. And you got to get the buy-in. You got to show them that hey, we're here to support you, this product, and depending on how deeply we go into this today, we looked at every category that we have, and it's like what is missing from this? How can we improve it? How do we make your dealer's life easier while also making them some money on the back end and have fun doing it? And so I remember an old guy told me once before, you do what you like, you never work a day in your life. And going to work is fun. We're the biggest kids on planet Earth because we sell a bunch of stuff that you really don't need. But I mean, people are kicking the doors off the hinges to get it. So yeah,
It's a great problem to have, honestly.
tremendously great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I mean, just the stuff being out there, it's at Adele shows. We see it on your social medias and all the cool things that you put out. And I mean, it's a great product. It's a very superior product. So the fact that you guys have, that kind of attitude and make such a great product really kind of makes it a slam dunk for a lot of dealers. And it's funny because it kind of grew out of screens, right? So screens at home, and
Mhm.
it's you're right, it's kind of a frivolous thing, right? You don't need a screen, you don't need a theater, you don't need this kind of thing. um, but you guys have kind of morphed into window treatments. You do need drapes, you do need
Mhm.
blinds and controlled window treatments and that kind of thing. I mean, how you've been there long enough, like how has that transition gone, and how you've made some very innovative things to kind of make your wedge into the market. um what's that process been like?
At first it was interesting because I joined Screen Innovation with just the pure passion of I enjoy two piece. I got a two piece in my living room. I've had I mean, projector screen for years. And then we said, Ryan came in one day and said, hey, you gotta get into the shading business. And everybody kind of looked at him. And, it was one of the best decisions ever. If you think about it, we've actually been doing shades for years. All of our motorized screens, that technology has been theirs. But, like, how do we fit into people's everyday life on things, to your point, that they actually need? And that transaction is, or transition, I should say, has actually been very good. When we first started out, and this is all trueness right here. When we first started out, I said we had a very cool roller shade, and just the core principles of trying to push that envelope of innovation on the next thing. This is where I tell people now we have a very cool roller shade. So in 2018, we started out with just the Oprah roll in the box. When you look at our catalog now, you got Nano, which is our indoor line, and under that umbrella of indoor, we have the Nano box to roll. You start thinking about Nano, anything that's under that architect, we have. So dual rollers, couple shades, you name it, we got it. Battery operated, so we know one size doesn't fit all. So sometimes AV, it's the second thought. It's an afterthought after the walls are closed up. So, if you're not lucky enough to get your wires pre-ran, we got a battery option for you. We got low voltage. We're dabbling in a lot of different things. And, when you start going to the outdoor stuff, I've learned this here just by being in the Navy business. People love to entertain. People love to be outside. Mother Nature doesn't always agree with it. And so by getting into the outdoor space, that has been a huge hit. And I tell people, I was like, dealers, think of customers that you've interfaced with in the last 6 to 8 months. How many people are spending money on outdoor kitchens, thousands of dollars on outdoor kitchens and Sunbright TVs and Terra TVs or whatever you want to call it? And people want to, entertain. When
Yeah.
you are in like Texas and there's some states like us where, our state bird is the mosquito. As soon as the sun go down, you might get carried off. And so it's like, how do I entertain, or I should say, extend that entertainment time? Let's put some shades out there. So shades outdoor has just it's been a huge success, just as much as indoor. because people really know, hey, I need to utilize this space. And effectively, I'm adding square footage onto my house that I can use kind of year round. Whether you're in the South, whether I got customers in Minnesota and Chicago that's like, man, I let my shades down, I throw a heater out there, and I'm out there with the family. So it's actually been great. And we always say we're still a small company. The thing that I love the best is we realize we can't innovate and design everything. So one of the major pushes we've had the last couple of months leading into 2024 is, if we can't design it the best, let's partner with the best. And you can see that with DT. We got that partnership. When you think about DT, I mean, that is kind of like the Bentley Rolls Royce of aspect ratio screens there. Whether it's going to be, two-way masking, four-way masking, they make a very high-end product. When you look at our drapery track system, we partnered with Current Luxury, and we'll talk a little bit deeper about that. But when you look at some of the stuff that they do, bar none, just class leading technology and some of the stuff. So it's been exciting. I know I kind of went the long way around that topic, but this whole journey has actually been very exciting to kind of see where we started in 2018 when I joined the team and to where we at now.
Man, this podcast is about you. You can talk as much as you want, my friend.
It's true.
Totally true. Like, I mean, I was, listening to your talk, and you're talking, and certainly, we can see the trend is, AV, as much as, I'm an AV guy, and I know a lot of certainly people from my class, that's kind of where we all came from. But it's not the entree anymore, right? Like it's either the dinner salad or it's the sprinkles on top of all of the other infrastructure, and that, for shading, for lighting, for all the, home and wellness type of stuff. If you don't have a quick answer for this question off the top of your head, it's okay. But like from your perspective, what piece of advice would you give guys that are firmly still kind of stuck in that AV camp to give them, give them the push to offer shade? Or like, what's a great, sort of like, hey, here's the, pardon the expression, but here's the gateway drug to getting you through the door of just being that known as the AV and audio guy to be the, the lifestyle guy, the shades guy, the,
Yep.
the everything guy. What's your tack on that?
And kind of rewind back to how we started this. This is a people's business, So I tend to have a very good relationship with everybody that I work with, and I'm very frank. I'm like, don't get left behind. Like the days of just the AV guy just doing AV. There's still a niche for that, but customers now, as people get busy, customers want that one stop shop, and not one stop shop that can do it mediocrely. They want that one stop shop that, hey, I got smarts, I got TVs over here, I got my theater, I got my lighting, I want to control security, I want this into one ecosystem, and bar none, Shades is always in that category. With lighting, with control, it's always there, and I give them examples of, there's still those projects out there where customers are spending, $50,000, $500,000 on just an AV project. But there's a lot of projects out there where they're toning down the AV portion of it. But when you bring out that lighting and shading, and it's a six-figure for each, they don't even bat an eye.
Yeah,
And
all of a sudden there's a budget. That's weird. I didn't have any money before, but now that you've shown me these shades, look, I have an extra $100,000. I looked in the couch and there it was. There we go.
I kid you not, and we joke around about it, but I literally had a conversation Tuesday. I had a conversation, and this dealer was like, we just finished wiring for 113 windows. And I was like, excuse me? Like,
wow.
Repeat that? He's like, yeah, we just finished wiring. We're going to put some drapery in it. We're going to do this. And I said, well, tell me when you're looking to do this so I can get a plane ticket and come up there and see you, because I want to see this project,
Yeah.
And he also told me, he said, the wife was really, kind of beat me up a little bit on the AV budget. Do we need this projector? Do we need that big of a screen? Do we have to have, these speakers going through the house, or so many of them? And then I showed the shade part of it, and it was more or less like, how quickly can we have this in? Because the house is going to close on this date, and I'm like, total change of tune. So
Yeah.
if you're that AV guy, there's always going to be customers that are just looking for, some TV hang in and some control stuff there. But everything is migrating to this direction right here, where I want that guy that can tie in a smart lifestyle for me, as easy as possible. And
Like more of a
that's where
concierge model, right? Where
yes,
this is my expert on
yep,
anything cool I need in a house for,
yep.
Man, I want to get that job title, concierge of anything cool.
right? I mean, they're
Like that's a
put it right on a card.
fantastic job description. Where do I sign up for that, Chris?
Well, and right, you need to sell that to the GC. That's usually the thing, because when you
Yes,
walk into this guy who's
yes.
been building houses for 75 years and you tell him the concierge of cool, that's that's a conversation you
I
gotta
was in
have.
Vietnam. What are you talking about?
Look at these
You
hip
know,
rafters.
Not trying to hear that. Not trying to hear it. Nope, not trying
It's
to hear it.
it's funny we joke about the concierge of cool. I got to figure out how to market that to some of my guys, because really that's what they're doing. So inside of SI, we have this role called a technical sales manager. So one of my TSMs was working with a dealer here in Dallas, and he has a great relationship. This dealer's doing, $2.5 to like $6 million homes. So for some areas, that's kind of chump change for Dallas. That's pretty good money. And his vision is just like, I know home building. I need somebody that can help with this portion over here. And so he's literally telling, the dealer, you handle shades, you handle automation, lighting, control, all of this stuff. And as long as my customer's happy, you'll get every house that I build. And I'm like, if that's not the concierge of cool, I don't know what that is, and that's where the business is going. You get into, relationships with those dealers. I mean, with those builders who do,
Mhm.
they don't want to add on another layer of complexity into their job. They want to have that concierge guy that can kind of, they can turn loose on their customer and recommend, what we should be doing. And that's kind of some of the business that SI really want to start moving towards a little bit as well, is how do we help these concierges of cool be self-sufficient out
I think we have the name for this episode. Chris. It's covered. Concierge is cool, Joseph.
I'm
out
gonna,
there.
I'm definitely gonna trademark that before I see it on.
We're coining that. It's official. Write that down.
That's
We can
it's only a matter of
just
time
parlay,
until
like no more director of sales or whatever.
No,
Concierge
concierge
cool.
are cool. I mean,
That's my new name.
I given like maybe 2 weeks until I see Blake on a YouTube video say, "Hey, it's your concierge of cool from the SI Galactic
wow.
headquarters." Like it's
Yeah.
coming, right?
I got to trademark this before
Yeah,
you see this podcast.
you better get on it, dude. You better get
Submit
on
the
it.
paperwork.
Yeah, you have to write it on a piece of paper and mail it to yourself, and then you have proof that you sent it before he posted it.
When I was a little kid,
man.
I honestly thought that was the way that you could trademark something. I swear to you, I was 8 years old. I don't know who told me that, but some drawing in crayon for something. I mailed it to myself, and I thought, hey, this is the thing. If this ever comes
It's
up,
official. I got it in the mail. It's
Yeah.
official.
it's official,
Timestamp.
postmarked. Great.
Yeah.
I was a dumb kid, but and it is that exactly what you just talked about, where builders and clients, for that matter, they're really looking for just a one-stop shop. Here's the guy. This guy deals with all of my technology, and technology encompasses all the audio, video, all the surveillance, even the alarm system, the window treatments, anything outdoor. I think maybe pool would be the only thing that maybe don't want to merge.
They
into
got
that that's
audio.
technological.
They got audio and lights in the pool now.
Correct.
It's a thing,
and-
right? So, I mean, you guys make a pool shade? Maybe there's a lane there, Joseph.
I mean,
It's a big flat shade, but hey.
I had to sign an NDA before I got on the spot.
Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to air it out for you, man. I'm sorry about that.
It does. It behooves CI guys to kind of wrap their heads around this, and we've been talking about this, with a lot of our lighting guys, where there's this big push into fixtures and low voltage
Yeah.
lighting and that kind of thing. And, the more dealers who can kind of embrace it, even if you dedicate a guy on your staff to be that guy, hey, this is my lighting guy, or hey, this is my shade guy. He runs point on every shade job. It's just another profit center. It's another thing to add to your menu that you can bring into your project, and it's not all that different than what you're used to doing. Right? If you can do a network, if you can, make their Wi-Fi completely robust and responsive, there's no reason that you can't do wireless shades or,
Mhm.
do wired shades and program and set the stops and everything else. It's super simple.
Yep.
So, you guys are
100%.
your guys' growth probably reflects a lot of that. At least as far as I can see.
Everybody likes that old saying, passive least resistance. If you can be easy to do business with, help me succeed, like why wouldn't you do business? And I kind of tell people, if I'm not helping you find another way to make more money and avoid some of the hiccups that depreciates on the P&L costing you money, why are we really doing business together? And that kind of goes through our product line as well as we look at Nano. The main thing I hear back from installers and integrators is the ease of install. Like, man, I put up two brackets, click, I'm in place, I'm done. Like, gee, this is time savings, And I'm like, now look at your bottom line, your P&L. Like, are you going to lower your install charges? Well, I didn't quite say that. I was like, that point right there. Now I gotta go out there, do a little bit quicker, a little bit more to the P&L. The other thing I also look at is that I'm actually very proud of. We spend a lot of time and effort, over the last 18 months coming up with our own ecosystem. And with that, is we just wanted to be easy to do business with. That was a lot of guesswork, around the industry. It's like, okay, if I'm doing this, I can use this controller, or I got to put this accessory, and I got to do. We made, an ecosystem that basically just talks to just about everybody. So I don't care if you're C4, Savant, Alon, Lutron, Crestron,
Mhm.
name a control company out there.
All
We're
the
going to,
Trons, all the Trons. You got all the
the
Trons.
Prime Truck,
Pronto,
whatever.
does it work with Pronto?
Does
I don't care if you're a
oh man,
Decepticon or Autobot. We are going to interface with you, and we're going to make your life easy. Which once again, now as these systems get more and more complex, to have a little simplicity in there, dealers really appreciate that, and so. That's the goal of everything that we have now. It all ties together. When you look at indoor, outdoor, silent tracks, even our screens, it all ties into our one ecosystem. That way, your control system have one, kind of platform to look at, and I can control everything that way there. So, really, just trying to, stuff is kind of cutting edge. We're trying. How do we make it simple? And that's what we're trying to solve.
Well, and along with that, obviously everybody appreciates an easier to, interconnections between these things. Everybody appreciates that, but just some of the form factor things that you guys have done, like
Yes.
the rack mountable stuff, and the way that you can, stick devices in and two devices next to each other, take up one rack U instead of needing to have a can on a wall or a wall mounted power supply like some of the competitors
Mm-hmm.
do. That kind of flexibility is great. Where, I mean, obviously somebody in SI is listening to the guys in the field. Like, I'm just kind of curious, like, how does that come in? Is that all based on dealer feedback, or is that just ideas that you guys have had and ran with?
When I meet dealers, I literally start off the sentence by saying, "Let me show you the product that you designed." Because it's all feedback. Like we have a dealer council, we get feedback off of certain things, and I say it kind of funny. Well, like the last time I checked, your AV guys, you really dominate and play in the rack space. So why, you brought up a point of power units. Why would I take up a whole wall with power boxes when I play in the rack space? So that was a lot of feedback from dealers, and how do we make it small and yeah, with our Janus system, I put two Janices side by side in a one use space in the rack. I got 16 shades powered up. Or if I'm going a traditional on cue panel, we had a demo at CEDIA like 2 years ago. I could put, four of my Janices in there, and I got 32 shades taken up, So
Hmm.
it's like, how do we make things simpler? How do we play in a space that dealers are already familiar with? And then how do we give them options? And I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours about this, but, when you go across the lineup, one of the smallest cassettes in the industry when we start talking about nano. But then the other thing on there is I give you everything in between. I can go 20 inches, or I should say 22 inches on our smallest shape for nano. But then I can go all the way out to 15 feet when it comes to, form factor. So you start thinking about those people that have huge sliding bay window doors. I have a solution for you there. I got a coupled system that I can go out 250 inches on. So
Wow.
all off of one motor. I don't care if it's an AC motor or low voltage. I got you taken care of on something like that. I get into the bedrooms. I want some privacy in there. That's where the idea for dual rolls came up. When you have a window under 8 feet, you might want a sunscreen for during the day, so I got some view through, let some natural light in. But we all stay next to that peeping tom, and maybe we need some blackouts at night to.
You got to watch out for that. Whoever Tom is,
Yeah, wait.
he's a real
So
creep,
Tom,
man.
if you're watching Tom, I wouldn't call you out specifically, but
Yeah.
we always have that neighbor sometimes that you just want some privacy at night. And before traditionally used to be, hey, let me put a pocket up in the ceiling, let me do this. But do you do a pocket for a 4 foot window? No, you don't. So
Right.
now I got you covered with that there, and the product lineup from top to bottom, I should say, was just thoughtfully curated for dealers with a lot of input from dealers. And I think that's what's helped us propel the business so aggressively and while we've grown. Because I think a lot of people actually see that like, hey, this is not another company to come out and do a money grab. This is a company that's actually listening to what we're trying to do, and it's definitely paid off. Definitely paid off.
And that's, I mean, it's so important. And honestly, in the dealer and CI community, it's important to feel heard. If you're a dealer and these companies they're just plowing ahead, they're focusing on the things that you don't want to focus on, or they're focusing on things that you have no interest in doing, that really turns a lot of guys off to a specific manufacturer. With you guys, it does. It seems like that feedback is being taken, dealers are being heard, and everybody wants to be part of a tribe, right? So we're part of the SI tribe. These dealers are part of the
Yep.
SI tribe, and that's hugely important in this.
Yep. No, and the last thing, and you hit on it. Everybody want to be heard. One of the main things is a lot of people tired of being tied into an ecosystem, and that was another driving factor. Not to kind of beat a dead horse, but that was another driving factor coming out with our ecosystems. Like, we just want to be friendly and sell shades. We're not trying to tie you into this box here or tie you over here. It's like, pick whoever you want to interface to, or if you want to do it as a standalone system, let it be standalone. But we just want to get you some, best in class shades, nice fit and finish. Um, a side note here is one of the few shade companies that's actually made in America. So I always tell people, hey, you ever want to come to Austin and go hang out and go to Sixth Street or whatever, come
Yes,
on down.
please.
Make sure you
Yes, yes, I'd like to do
stop at
that.
the factory first.
Yes, please. Raising my hand. Not that anybody can see this because my hands are cut off on the video, and if you're listening to this, you can't see any of it. But yeah, I definitely want to go to Sixth Street and hang out with the SI family.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like
Well, I
there's
was just
definitely there's a play to be made for your reps, your friends, really,
yes.
to come
Yes.
out
Really.
and do this. So
Agreed.
We are, I tell Blake, this is Blake's line, and I love it. He's like, in case you didn't get the memo, COVID's over. And a lot of people, they closed the doors, they wasn't doing, and we got away from that, and that's what people loved about SI is I can come to the factory, I can come do a tour, I can see it being made, and I tell dealers all the time, hey, come to the factory. Let's go do a tour. I'll show you exactly where, this material's cut. One of the proudest things that I love about SI is we're vertically integrated. So I can, I was at the factory yesterday. I can go walk out onto the floor. I can see where we get, the fabric comes in, we cut it, and it goes through the whole assembly line. I can go to the chop shop, see them cut the aluminum for just about everything we have in the building, go through the powder machines. Like, when you're vertically integrated, we control that quality from bottom to top to bottom, however you want to say it, and we touch every piece of it before it ships out. So that is another good moment, about SI is just kind of controlling your destiny and not relying on so much outsourcing. So.
well, I'd imagine a lot of that became very important, and now it's 2 years distant from us, but supply chain issues and having
Oh,
a
yeah.
tough time getting things from China. not that you guys didn't, because it's not like, you're not fabbing chips there, but
Hmm.
still channels, that kind of thing, things that would usually come from somewhere else that could hold up a project in the pre-wire phase, you guys were able to do because, hey, we have, we could put pockets in, we could put in tracks for outdoor stuff where we don't have to hold up this project because of a supply chain constraint. That's a big deal too. And dealers remember that that's something that you guys did. And not everybody did. There were a lot of jobs got held up because people couldn't get backhands for lighting fixtures. You couldn't get gem boxes there for a while. How are you going to pass your electrical inspection with just Romex hanging out? And that's a big deal.
I received a lot of calls during that time frame, and nobody want to go back to those days there. But I received a lot of calls, and they're like, "Hey, I'm in a bind. Can you help me out? I got this project, I got this, but I can't get the screen or I can't get this." And yeah, we were chugging away and on down in Austin, Texas, and business skyrocketed because by being made here, we were able to take a lot of dealers, earned a lot of good partners during that time. So yes.
So I want to ask you specifically, and I don't want to cut off Jason, if you're going to say something, but
Nope.
I want to ask you specifically about Revolve. So
Mhm.
Revolve looks really cool. We saw it at Cedia. It's definitely one of those wow factor things. I'm not gonna spoil all of, it, but it's obviously a part of your ecosystem, so it can works with everything. You can spec it. I mean, where did that come from? It's such a great idea, and I know that you
Yeah.
guys partnered with the company that does it. Like, what's you know where did it come from,
So
and how did you get it?
so I don't know exactly where the actual design came from, but I know Current Luxury, the original members of QMO, they had that technology, and it goes back to one of those things where if we can't, have the best innovation, we definitely gonna find a partner that does. And we came across it, and we were just blown away. And when the same relationship partnership I try to have with dealers, we look for that in other vendor partners, and those guys arms wide open. Ed and the team over there. As soon as we showed a little bit of interest, man, we was able to fly, our whole engineering team down along with design services. They talked to their engineers, and you can see the sparks flying. The nerd fest took off, and it was talking about the different things you can do. And when you actually look at the product, it's a Helix design, product where that front ring goes in the helix, and I know you're gonna do a video, but it goes into the helix of that rod, and it just looks like the rod is spinning into itself.
It's
And
amazing.
Yeah.
the first time I saw it, it just blew me away. I was like, "Oh my,
What
let's
just
rewind
happened
this. Let's
there?
bring it
Yeah.
back." And,
Yeah.
and we got some in house, and I was like, "This is a gold mine. This is really game changing." And the two companies got together just to make sure there was no hiccups as far as control. It fits into our ecosystem, or it can stand alone. You can do it in a single operation. I should say a single rod operation, 12 feet, or you could do like a kind of a tandem design out to
Hmm.
124 feet. But it's just amazing and it's breathtaking, and it's solid. It is solid, and it filled a void that we had in our assortment for a nice, custom showpiece that goes for drapery, and it also complements their silent track, which is
Right.
the other part of their drapery system, that you can go bigger tandem designs and the whole nine. But yeah, it's just top to bottom, just a great design.
Well, I mean,
Great.
Silent Track, just the fact that you can walk over to it and tug it, and that's your that's your UI is
Yes.
just so slick. It's so cool.
Well, you think about it too. We don't really, and probably we will advertise more about it, but there's a couple other safety things there. There's one thing: if there's an obstacle kind of detection and the fabric gets snugged up against something that can't go any further, it'll stop. So it's not ripping it off the track. And to your point, I can grab one and kind of, snatch it a little bit, and a little tug on it, and it'll go ahead and keep on going across. The beautiful thing is, it can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. So I can hook it up to a regular remote control, have one silent track or a draper rod there doing it, or I can tie it into a control system, our ecosystem, and have it part of a scene or whatever. So it's SI is really doing the flavor of whatever your customer wants. They want it simple, I got you covered. They want a menu, I got you covered. If it's somewhere that doesn't have power, I need battery, I got you covered. If it's hey, I can run power to it, we just want to fill in that void that's been missing there. So yeah.
So I got to circle back now to bring it all the way back to where you guys started. Obviously, two-piece projection isn't what it was 20 years ago, right? Like
Hmm.
the game has changed. It's gone from the dedicated hardcore room to kind of the mixed media space.
Yep.
And now we've got UST, we've got a bunch of other stuff, happening in the projector space. For integrators that still want to make two-piece projection part of their mix, what do you suggest is like, or what do you see in terms of trends as like, hey, this is a great option for you, or this is a lane that's untapped, or like, is there a recommended secret sauce or cheat code to two-piece projection right now?
I sit there and I tell people a lot of times. I once again I start that conversation and think about when we first got into the business. What was it about two-piece projection? Well, for me, it was the experience.
Right.
You always go back to, man, I'm sitting in the movie theater, I see this. But you want to recreate that in your house. And this is no shots at other technologies, but I tell people all the time, a mixed activity room or theater room with an 85-inch or 100-inch TV is a room with a TV, but you get in
Yeah.
there and you can have an experience. You're going to have a projector, you're going to have a screen. And, like right now, to your point, there's not a ton of homes that are coming with theaters. The ones that do, you know what you can do in there 140, 160, whatever. Where we are really starting to see a lot of promise is our ultra short term. Um,
Mm.
I'm a proud owner of one. I had a sound like a proud dad over here.
Yeah, you
I
do.
had
You
a Black
sound,
Diamond,
yeah.
and I love a Black Diamond. It was great, and we came out with well, this, Jason. We came out with short throw at Sony's request. Sony came out with their short throw projector. We engineered that technology, and it's been great. And now in more recent times, people are really starting to see how it excels against other screen materials. When I have a very well lit room, when I have kids playing around and I don't want to play video games and have the image from the projector, shadow somewhere. I can do ultra short throw from 100 inches all the way up to 120 and fixed. We are working on some other things there, but basically have a big TV in your living room that it really doesn't matter. It's going to look great, and I can tell you, I have a 110, and when I have guests come over, they like, "Oh, what size TV is that?" I'm like, first of all, you're not disrespecting. Uh, no, I tell them, I'm like, actually, and I slow it down and I explain, like, this is a, projector, like, we used to project it down there. And, it just fits into that environment. So, yeah, I tell a lot of people, ultra short throw, when you start looking in those, game room, mixed activity rooms, whatever, that is still the bread and butter. And the last thing I tell people, last time I checked, when you look at your storefront, at the end, does it say .com? Does it say .gov or .org? Last time I checked, it's .com. You want to make a profit. This is a
Right.
non-profit organization. There's still some good, margin for dealers in there.
It's a lot of
To
attachment
bring
that goes along with a two-piece
a ton
projection
of
system,
attachments,
right? So,
ton of attachments, which are good attachments. We
right.
start thinking about your audio, and then your other purposes that go with it. It's still a good solution.
Some furniture, a couple of
Yep.
tie-ins along the way there, right? So, maybe you got a salamander standing there for your audio equipment. You got your screen innovations. You got maybe salamander furniture. Who knows?
Yep.
This isn't the salamander show, but we got to cross promote a little bit where we can.
But Salamander makes a very good product that is AV friendly. So yeah, no, great partner there.
Oh, we
That
know.
wants to
We
do
know.
Oh,
that.
we're very aware.
I don't know as intimately as you guys, but I've been a fan of their product for years. So yeah, no, they make a very good product. So yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for the time today, Joseph. Any parting shots? Anything that you wanted to leave everybody with before we wrap up the show here today?
You know, It's in our name, and this is my cheesy line that I always say. It's in the name, innovation. Like we are, 2024 is going to be a good year. There's a lot of things you're going to see announced before CEDIA, and there's going to be some great teasers, right at CEDIA there. But we're definitely pushing the envelope, and these products, they are customer centric. They're going to be very exciting. So, that's really all I have without getting myself in trouble here.
Oh man, we yeah, as two guys that have the keys to the Trouble Kingdom, we respect and appreciate that. It means a lot to us. Obviously we're friends outside of this, but definitely means a lot to have you on here and get your insight as an industry professional and somebody that's been in the game for a long time.
I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, man, we really appreciate you playing along for sure. Are you going to be at Lightapalooza at the end of the month? Or
I personally will not. And Jason, that was something in the back of my mind. I totally forgot. Yeah, Lightapalooza. SI will be there as a company. I will not be there. Either my West Coast guy Rich will be there, or I believe Tim Parker, actually our CEO, was going to be at Lightapalooza.
Our good friend Rich Julian, who's the rep for the West Coast. So
he's going to be there. We was actually just talking about what we're going to be showing, and the last little segue I say is through this whole podcast here, I've been talking about ecosystem, how we can tie into Savant and this and C4 and everything. And I think this time we really want to show some of the simplistic stuff. We have a bond device. Excuse me. We have the bond device that, if you got that customer who they don't want to go that complex. They just want some shades and maybe a drapery system, and they want keypads in the room, and that's all they want, and tied into smart. We have some solutions for that, and I think we're going to get very aggressive on promoting that stuff there, because that is also a niche there where people don't want to tie it into control. They do want something that gives them smart, so I can set up scheduling and timers and all that stuff. But I don't need to have a whole house, automation type of deal. We got some solutions for you. So yeah, come check us out at Lightapalooza. I think you will be blown away at what you see. And yeah.
That sounds great, man. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing you soon.
No, thank you for having me. This was great. And invite me anytime you want, man. I enjoyed this thoroughly.
Okay, well, we're talking about doing a sports past. So if you want to talk about, I can see the reaction on your face.
I can.
Perfect.
Hey, give me a tee up of a sport, of a team first. And
okay, then we'll talk about it. Yeah, no, that was we joked about that with Mike Diolis from Colorbeam. He's like, oh, what do you think about a custom install sportscast? And like, absolutely, I'm
do a hockey show, or it's going to be
hockey
great.
show. Absolutely.
Formula One. Say we talk football, basketball, maybe a little bit of rugby. I got you, but anything else, might have to brush up on it.
All right. Well, we'll get there. Again, thanks, Joseph.
Thanks again.
Appreciate you hanging out with us today.
All right, gentlemen.
And once again, we're Inside Integration. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. I have to show that every single time because we need subscribers. Yeah, join us next time. And thanks again.